What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and yes, this is the one you might have been waiting for. You've all been waiting for. I've been waiting for, and by all of you, I mean maybe 3 of you. I don't know, but a lot of us have been waiting for this, and it is the showcase of my free-to-play account, guys. I have been slacking on showing off my progress on this account, what I have accomplished in the last year since I did the Hell Hades challenge and finished 3rd. You may know I continued this account and I've played it daily ever since then. And so we're going to show off exactly what I've accomplished, where the account stands, all the missions and quests and everything that I've done in the last year. And it's not really a year. It's more like a year and a month and a half, a year and 2 months, I think, at this point, from when I started this account. So I want to be transparent about that, but close enough. You know, 1 year, 2 months. Yeah, a lot can happen in 2 months. But anyway, I'm really excited to kind of showcase what I have learned from doing this account. And honestly, when I did the Hell Hades challenge last year, first off, I didn't even submit myself for it. One of my viewers did. One of the community members did, and they selected me to be a team captain. I was like, what? I didn't even put my name in for this. Like, what the heck's going on? I guess I'll do it. And it was a ton of fun, a ton of time. But I never envisioned myself playing a free-to-play account in Raid at all. And I certainly never envisioned myself, after that challenge ended, continuing the free-to-play account. But you know what? It's been a really educational experience for me. First off, it's been a lot of fun. Challenging for sure, but a lot of fun. And I think that's important to note up front, because there's often this weird tension between spenders in Raid and free-to-play players in Raid. And frankly, it makes no sense to me. Like, if you're free-to-play, you're enjoying the game for free, you got to be thankful to the spenders for spending a bunch of money for keeping the lights on. That's the way I look at it. And if you're a spender, there's no reason to shit on people for being free to play. They're just enjoying the game in a different way. So I don't know. I feel like we could all live in harmony most of the time, but it just doesn't always work like that. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of tension here. So as someone who's been a big spender in Raid over the years, it was a really, really cool experience to be on the other side and experience what that is like, and again, learn so much about what playing Raid is like when you don't have money invested, when you are, scraping by the, hair on your chin. What's the saying? Whatever. Long story short, it was a really cool experience. So let's dive in. Let's show you what I've accomplished, where the account stands. We're not quite level 100 in the last year, so we're 8 levels off, so still a ways to go, because it's quite a long time. We got a power level of 5.37 million. You can see there, the 2024 is when we started. This actually shows off a lot of the things that I've done, which nothing else is too impressive, so, don't get too excited. But let's take a look quickly at the dungeons first and foremost and go through where we've accomplished. Now, I have slacked super hard on Iron Twins Fortress dungeon. I just don't know how people have enough energy to do this stuff. Can I do stage 15? Yes, I absolutely could. I have the teams that could do it. I think the biggest thing that I've seen as an impediment to my progress on free-to-play is just time. Time, because it's really hard to play a main account at a high level, a free-to-play account, and then, as you guys know, I've been playing King Arthur for the last several months as well, and then other games that I play and test out. It's just really tough when you're doing that with a full-time job to juggle all that stuff. I'm not going to lie. How people do more than one account at ultra-high levels, and work another job on top of that, frankly, I don't know. I've done the best that I can, but stuff has fallen through the cracks, right? Like, I need a night to put together a team to really beat Iron Twins Fortress. And again, I have all the champions to do this, but I think one of the other things that's really limiting is it just comes down to silver. Being able to switch gear around, being able to have enough gear to gear the specific champions for this that also might be used in other places. And that's going to be a theme you see on this account quite a bit, because my clan boss team is still using champions I really wish that it weren't, which we'll get to in a bit. So dungeon wise, Iron Twins Fortress, we need to push. All the keeps are all done, of course. They were done during the challenge, so no surprise there. All of the keeps are done. They're all level 20. Of course, Minotaur's Labyrinth is done. Let's take a look at Ice Golem. Now, funny enough, I haven't even bothered to push higher than stage 6 on the hard level of Ice Golem, because frankly, I hate this dungeon. I hate this dungeon, and I really don't care about level 10 at this point, because I'm not at that point in the Marius missions where it matters. When I get to that point, will I build a higher level team? Yes. Do I think I could get to level 10? Yes, I do. I see no reason why not. I just really hate this dungeon. And full disclosure, I don't even have an Ice Golem team built on my freaking main account. That's how stupid I think this dungeon is. So there you go. Really drives home the point that I'm not an Ice Golem fan. Dragon's Lair. We got to stage 10. We completed it. This isn't 100%, so I definitely need to do more here. I have teams that could 100% this all the time, but they're tied up in Clan Boss, so that's one of the issues here. But we did get to stage 10 in Dragon. Spider, same thing, stage 10. Fire Knight's Castle, we made it up to stage 6. Made it up to stage 4 in a very entertaining live stream a couple months back. And stage 6 since then, this is a very tough one to push higher on at the moment. For me, I don't know if I could do it on auto. This isn't 100% on the stage 6 because the speeds just aren't where they need to be for champions. Then it would be 100%. But yeah, this is a tricky one, right? I think I have the ability to get to stage 10 if I really sat down and pushed and really pushed my gear on champions where it needs to be, but not quite there. And actually, let me quickly show you the teams I'm using. So on stage 6 of Fire Knight, we pulled a Podrick recently. You can see here. This is just a simple ally attack. Again, not 100%er, so not the best in the business, but hey, at least it can clear it, at least one time. And then we'll take a look at the Dragon's Lair. Stage 10, we're using Stag Knight, we're using Ancora, Yostrid. I did pull an Acrisius. I'm giving away some of the special things that have happened on my account, so stay tuned. We'll look at champions after this. And my Rathalos, who is still my main boy. And then Ice Golem, I don't even know what team I threw in here. Something stupid. What did I put in here? Okay. Yeah, so we got a Godseeker, we got Mithrala. Fun stuff. Nothing crazy on the Ice Golem. And then Spider, we were running... Yes, similar team to the Dragon, just with my Acelin that I pulled during the challenge. And this isn't 100% either on stage 10. It's 100% like stage 8 and below, but stage 10 it gets a little dicey. So there you go. Sand Devils Necropolis. We're on stage 25. We're running the very fun Godseeker Ninja team. This does pretty much 100%. The only thing that happened is every once out of 500 runs, the Ninja and Godseeker get out of sync speed-wise, and then they just kind of sit there for 12 hours. So I guess you consider that a 99.9%. Then Phantom Shogun's Grove. I haven't built a team to consistently do the high levels. I need to do that as well. But it just isn't as important, I feel like, as Sand Devils because you never see tournaments for it. So this would be something I need to do as well. But overall, not bad. For dungeon progress, really not bad. I think I could certainly build, I know I could build a stage 25 team on Shoguns. I know I could build a more consistent Spider team and a more consistent Dragon team. It's just time and desire, right? And I don't know if maybe I'm the only one who feels that way, but oftentimes I'm like, I just don't care enough. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I alone in that? Probably. Let's take a look at Faction Wars quickly, then we'll get into Champions. So Faction Wars, I'm so close to my Lydia. You can't see down here, but it says 928 behind me. So 928 out of 945. I've completed most of the crypts. Just got a 3-star, the Ninja boss stage. And then I've got to really do the Lizardmen crypt, which is kind of the bane of my existence. This crypt is such a pain in the ass. Skinwalker crypt, I got really close to getting 3 stars. Couldn't quite do it. And Demon Spawn, I'm not too far away as well. So we're really down to 4 crypts left to get stuff cooking. But Lizardmen is the hardest one of the bunch by far. I don't have phenomenal Lizardmen champions. And on top of that, I really don't want to level up the champions I do have because it's so hard to get resources in this game. But everything else hasn't been an issue, hasn't been a problem. Speaking of champions, this is a great time to segue into that. Let's take a look at exactly what we pulled. And yes, we did pull a mythical on the recent 2X. It was Aphanus the Hive Lord, which is meh, but he was buffed. He is better. Certainly for a free-to-play account, he's absolutely usable. Would I have loved for it to have been Galathier and a Laz? Probably would have been top of my list because they don't have a block damage counterattack, champion like a Valkyrie, which isn't block damage but shield. But you know what? Can't complain. I had 2 mythical shards, guys. I pulled them on the 2nd mythical shard. I've had maybe 20 to 25 mythical shards on this account the entire time I've had it. I have not farmed Live Arena, so this was a miracle to get any kind of mythical. I'm kind of stunned. And speaking of miracles, in Acrisia, wow, talk about incredible luck on the voids. And I think that's really the takeaway here when you look at my roster. I'm not an experienced free-to-play player in terms of having done this for years or done multiple free-to-play accounts. This is my only one. So I don't know if this is out of the ordinary, but I feel like this is pretty darn good for free-to-play, right? Now, a lot of these champions are champions you can get for free, right? Alice, Drexstar, Rathalos, Armands. They're either fusion champions or the champions that are given away. Ninja, Mithrala, Arbiter, Thor. But then there are also some pretty solid pulls in here too. And Korra, I didn't complete the fusion. This was actually a pull. Podrick was someone I just pulled in the last 2 weeks, by the way. And that was completely on accident, you know, just completely on accident. I did do the stuff for Cernic and for Yostrid. So there are a lot of champs on here that are like champs anyone can get, but I've had some good luck. Theodore, Aislinn, Mashald, Grand Oak Podrick, right? That's about it, really. None of these other champions are ultra meta, and certainly not ultra meta arena champions. That's the one part I would say that this account hasn't been super lucky when it comes to arena champs. But speaking of luck, I did just get an Ugo finally after not having one for a year. I finally pulled an Ugo again in the last 2 weeks when I was pulling and got the Podrick at the same time. So the hardest thing that I've seen with free to play is just resources to level the stuff. And you guys already know that, right? Like legendary books to book these champions and chickens and, you know, food and all that stuff. It just takes so much time. I've pulled a lot of legendaries, in my opinion. I've pulled a lot of bad legendaries, though. That's the thing. So I've had, you know, you're seeing the best of the best up here. But if you look down here, a lot of these legendaries are pretty ass, man. You know what I mean? They have niche uses. They certainly are usable on free-to-play accounts. But from an end game perspective, I'm like, oh my God. Drockle? Why? Freaking Harvest Jack? Why? Freaking Norog? Why? Crypt King is kind of useful in certain areas. You know, it's been a mixed bag. A lot of legendaries pulled, not a lot of great legendaries pulled, and certainly for arena specifically. Like, I can't complain. I've been really lucky. I think this account is very blessed, but I think it's important to note where I've been luckier and where I've been less lucky. And when it comes to getting like the god tier arena champs, the Duchesses, the Rhodoses, you know, that kind of stuff, the Sung Wukong would be incredible. I have not been lucky there. I have also had, though, speaking of luck, I think I've had fantastic epic luck. Really, the only epic I would kill to have is Taragi the Frog, because it would help me a lot on the clan boss side of things. I finally pulled a Miscreator Monster in the last month. Haven't had a chance to build him yet. But for the whole, like, you know, on the whole, I really feel like I've had pretty darn good epic luck. Like, I just don't think this looks like a free-to-play account, right? You guys can let me know in the comments down below. Like, is this normal? Is this worse? Maybe I'm overglazing, as the kids say today. And this really isn't that impressive at all for a year. And people are like, this is basic shit, Drock. Up your game, bro. Hey, you know what? If it is, that's okay. I'm proud of what I've done on this account, especially given the massive time sink that's required when you're managing multiple accounts. So anyway, that's the champion roster. That's what we've done. You know, there's no like crazy build on here. I think Rathalos is still my overall best build in Slayer, and it's not like anything to get super jazzed about, right? Only 329% crit damage, only 5,700 attack. Like, these really aren't super strong numbers by any stretch of the imagination. Currently got Thor in a merciless build, so we can take a look here again. Pretty low crit damage. Now I can actually switch him into Stone Skin and Savage, which I will do at some point when I have the silver to do it. But for the most part, nothing crazy. My fastest champion is my Arbiter. We're sitting at 345. I don't think she's fully glyphed. Yeah, she's definitely not fully glyphed, so she could be faster for sure. But I don't want to waste the glyphs until I'm at those missions. So yeah, there's not much more room here to get her up much faster. And then my Armands, I believe, is my second or third fastest at 323. Where's my Yostrid at? What's she at? She at 300 something now? She's at 295. So speed on this account, not super impressive. 345, you know, in today's day and age, that's really not a big deal. That's, you know, you're not going first in the arena the vast majority of the time. I haven't really taken the time to build these champions specifically for arena. which is a great segue into where I've gotten with some of these quests, and where I've gotten with tag team. So I've actually made it up to tag team 2. I just fell out this past week. That's really where the difficulty spikes I've seen. I mean, that is a massive difference. Silver tag team 1, it's totally fine. I can win the majority of fights I take in here as long as I'm smart. Silver tag team 2, I can definitely win, but I have to be really, really, really picky. And the big difference is my defenses got absolutely cooked. And again, I haven't built the champion specific to these modes. And I think that's also the biggest drawback with free-to-play is you can't just shuttle around your artifacts and accessories willy-nilly like you want to because it costs too much silver. It's the number one thing I think as a free-to-play player that I wish they would change is drastically reduce the cost of that so you could have more experimentation and also potentially have more builds set up that you could utilize with your champions in different areas. But, you know, for mission-wise, you know, we made it. I did do the Ramontu missions. I know that's some people say not to do them. I don't care. I just want to see how far I can get this account. So we're 11 out of 60 on the next set of things. I just got to do this force thing today. And the big block here is going to be reach silver 3 in the tag team arena. And that's going to be the big block for this account for sure. Like it is for most free-to-play players is can you get to silver 3? Can you get to gold 1 for tag team? And the answer is you can do it if you get lucky with champions and if you have a lot of time, but it certainly isn't easy. For Marius missions, I'm on the 2,500 mortal soul coins. I really haven't pushed this. I need to do more of this, but again, it's just a time sink. Though I think these missions are honestly kind of easier than the Ramontu missions at this point with how tough those tag team arena missions can be. So that would be something that I work on going forward. Let's take a look here. What else are we doing? Challenges. There's nothing really to show off here. Like cool, some badges. Quests. No. Let's see. Oh, clan boss. This is a good one. This has been one of the biggest limiting things on my account. Specifically with the Demon Lord. I do not have a 1-key Ultra Nightmare because I missed the Wixwell fusion and I missed it by not having enough shards. Man, oh man, has that hurt my account's progress. And the reason why is because the team I'm still using for this, I can't battle it again. Can I even show you the team? This is so stupid goofy. Okay, hold on. Let me just scroll down here to show you my team. The reason why here is the team that I'm using utilizes some of my potential best champions for other areas of the game, specifically Theodore, who I would absolutely kill to get into a high resistance build for Dragon, for Spider, for Scarab Boss, since I don't have, I can't remember his name right now, but the Doomtire champion you unlock, I'll think of it in a second. And then also Aislinn, who would help a ton if he were in a bolster build for Arena, but he's in regeneration. Even Rathalos, who I can't build faster because it needs to be speed tuned. This is the biggest thing holding my account back. There are Ultra Nightmare teams I could hypothetically put together, but then I'd just be shifting out the champions that I use, like Godseeker and Eerie or whatever else that I need in other areas of the game. And that I think is one of the overall most challenging things to deal with is the free-to-play life is just, you know, how do you have a champion do 12 different areas of the game? What's important? For example, Crizia, you know, surprisingly, I looked up the optimizer. There really aren't a lot of Crizia teams for Clan Boss that do better than what I can do now. Like this is a solid 2-key on a Force Affinity, and then it's a 3-key, 2 to 3-key on Magic. Sometimes I'll 2-key it, usually I'll 3-key it, and then it's a 3-key on Spirit Affinity. The other thing too is my Nightmare team on anything other than Force, not a 1-key with this build. So this is probably the biggest area of the game that I really should spend some time and try to fix. But it's not a simple, easy fix either, right? I have a lot of champions that would potentially do well here. But the problem is just shuttling around gear when I need them for other areas as well. But when I get to the point where I'm able to free up the Theodore and free up the Aislinn and even free up the Rathalos, I think that's going to push my progress even further, or at least make it more consistent. Is the big thing, right? Like doing Dragon 10, never losing with Theodore, though that does require God tier gear. For Hydra, I have all the champions to push higher into Brutal. I just haven't done it, you know? And it's a time issue, guys. It's a time and it's a not only time, but also sitting down to really figure out the teams and the fact that I will not manual this content. I will not do it. I will not manual anything content-wise on this account. I do not have the time. I do not have the wherewithal. This is not my main account. So although I've put a lot of time into this account, that is something I will not flex on. I do not manual stuff, with the exception of Doom Tower and Doom Tower bosses. On occasion, I will manual that. But when it comes to Hydra, it ain't happening. So normal and hard, I clear no problem. Brutal, I can get I could 2-key it basically to get the top chest. I absolutely have the champions to build a better team for Brutal, especially with Esme now that I have some block buffs champions. That was the biggest thing that I was really lacking, was I just did not have good block buff champions. Galkabar was my best option for the longest time, and he's only a 1-turn block buff as opposed to a 2-turn block buff. But now I have Ugo. I just got her in the last 2 weeks. Now I have Esme. I just got her in the last, month? These are champions I did not have before. Bells is another great example. But again, the problem is you just have to get the books to land here. And I started trying to book him before I had the Esme, before this was announced, and before I got the Ugo. Now I don't necessarily need to book him at the moment, and maybe it's better to put my books elsewhere. So I've started putting books into Esme because she is a really phenomenal Hydra champion. And then also I booked Podrick as much as I could as well. Which you can see here because he's just fantastic everywhere. Fantastic Hydra, fantastic Fire Knight, etc. But you know how it is. Resource struggling, right? That's the big thing. The other big thing too is, how the hell do people get enough energy to freaking do masteries on every champion? My God, man. I am just struggling to find enough energy to get masteries done while still completing fusions. I mean, this is probably one of the hardest things to do, in my opinion, on a free-to-play account. Is how the hell do you get enough energy on a weekly basis to do this stuff? They really squeeze your balls on the free-to-play side when it comes to energy. And it's such a difference from something like King Arthur, which is way friendlier on an energy basis, on a day-to-day basis, than something like Raid is. They are really stuck in the past in this regard. But this isn't a, talk about Raid. This is just a general update. Let's see what else here. Live Arena, haven't pushed here. We're only at 1632. I do my 1 mission per day, and I kind of leave it alone. Against 5 is too many. Just don't have the desire, time, etc. to do that stuff. So this would be something I definitely need to push more, especially after I sit down and do some legitimate arena builds, because there is such a massive difference with building champions for PvE versus arena, especially at this level where you really want to have a lot of stone skin and trick your opponent and etc. because you're not always going to win the speed race like I can do at the top level. Although even now I can't really win the speed race all the time at the top level. And then classic arena, we just sit in gold 5. We chill in gold 5. We have fun in gold 5. Gold 5 is great. I beat most of the teams in gold 5. It's not a problem whatsoever. Great haul. We're about to do for CVC. We'll get to level 9 here, and then we'll get up to level 10 on the accuracy, and then I'll probably work maybe on resistance and crit damage. Resistance kind of more important now with things like Hydra than it was in the past. Maybe crit damage, HP percentage. But that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Guardian Ring, haven't unlocked any of this stuff. Gems, just want to hold on to this. I have to, tip my cap to the people that amass massive amounts of gems or, silver on free-to-play accounts. I just don't have the discipline to do it. Really, really, really impressive when I see that. Let's take a look at Faction Guardians. So, I haven't gotten any dupes yet, which is great. I'm really happy about that from the legendary side of things. And I think that's one of the benefits of the fact that there are so many legendaries in the game now, is that you're less likely to get a dupe. But I've gotten lots of dupe epics, as you can see here, and that's been great for my Faction Guardians. So most of them are filled out. Skinwalkers were hurting pretty bad. Orcs, we still need one more. Knights Revs, Dark Elves. I've done pretty well overall, but there are definitely some factions that need more epics to complete that. And again, none of the legendaries have been filled in whatsoever, which isn't the worst thing because it means we did not get a dupe. Empowering champions, I could empower some of the stuff here, but I've held off on doing it. Thinking about Cursed City. Oh, and actually, speaking of Cursed City, let's see what we've done progress-wise there. Again, Doom Tower, I complete every Doom Tower. I get all the way to the top. I can farm, any stage on Doom Tower. Haven't beaten every secret room, but also haven't really tried to beat every secret room here. So I'm leaving some keys on the table here. Some of these are definitely, I have the champions to do it, just don't have them leveled. yeah, just don't have them leveled up enough to make it happen. But all the Doom Tower complete. And then for Cursed City, most of the normal I can do. I haven't beaten Amius yet. Need to put a team together to do that at some point. But the only thing I sometimes get blocked on is over here in Sand Devils in Soul Cross on the normal level. Some of these I just really don't have the chance to do it. Just straight up, just don't have the chance. Like, it would be close, not impossible. There's always a way, but extremely difficult and take too much time. But I can get a lot of this done, which is great. I can do all of this over here. The only one that gives me trouble sometimes is Scarab over here, and Scarab over here as well, which require, you know, specific builds that I don't feel like doing. For hard mode, oof, a little bit different story. I've managed to push, I think, into this area once on one of these rotations, but beating Bommel, kind of a pain in the ass. Again, I think I have the champions to do it now, especially with Ugo coming into play, and I have a Mithrala and Aphidus in stock. So I think I have more of the champions on some of these rotations, but for a while, this has been one of the biggest blocks here. And then also, Nether Spider, surprisingly. Man, dude, you wouldn't think that this would be challenging from the perspective of I just don't have a lot of cleansers, you know, all team cleansing. And, like, I'm not going to sit here and build a whole team in regeneration to do something like this. I'm just not going to do it because I don't care. Same for some of these levels. I can usually get past Tainted Skavog on hard as long as it's one of the rotations where I have the damage dealers. So I think this is just a matter of leveling certain people up, you know, and then we'll kind of get there. But good to take a look at. Hard is definitely hard. It's, you know, you are hard locked on champions here in a way that you aren't in other areas of the game. Kind of disappointing that that's the way that they go about it. I think it, you know, increases the difficulty in a mediocre way. But then again, they do the same thing in Doom Tower, just with less restrictions. Here, they really punish you hard, and also set you up to fail, especially down over here. But that's, you know, that's just Soul Cross for you. That's the general gist there. Let's see what else here. Siege. We've won a couple Siege. I don't have Lamasa yet. I'm pretty far away from getting her. We typically lose Siege in my clan. My clan is very much not geared towards end-game free-to-play players or anything like that. It's very much a mid-game clan, and that's kind of where I'm at in the game still. I would still consider this account very mid-game. We already went over clan bosses, went over arenas, went over faction wars again. This is the worst. Not this one. Lizardmen Keep is the worst. We'll take a look at my Lizardmen champions here in a second. I think that's it. Campaign, of course, is done. No issues there. Take a look briefly at the Lizard champs. Lizardmen. Yeah. I mean, I could do it. 6-star Slixus. Maybe 6-star Rosin. It's just like, I really don't want to level some of these champions. I just don't. I really don't. You know what I mean? There's so many for me to have to try to rank up. And I really would prefer not to put chickens into Slixus or chickens into, you know, Sathix or even Broadmaw or Rosin. But realistically, it is a big lock on what I can do because Lydia is so good. So I'll need to do it at some point, and we're rapidly approaching that point. So we're not far off from Lydia. But man, that Lizardman that Lizardman faction is just, I have not had good Lizardman champion luck whatsoever, in my opinion, and or I've prioritized other areas of the game to put stuff into. But I think that's the gist of it, guys. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. We got Tavern, no. Forge, yeah, I got lots of materials to do Forge, so I'm going to be doing a big run through Forge stuff for this CVC here, since it's personal rewards. So hopefully we'll get some good perception gear and also some good lethal gear, which will really upgrade my account a ton. Wish I could get more bolster materials, but, you know, free to play life. Can't do much there. And then also I've got some relics I can craft here. I have not had great relic luck in terms of what I've pulled. It's pretty limited, as you can see. Pretty limited. There's really not much. I did get the one Cat's Gaze, of course, and that's on my Rathalos. But for the most part, yeah, you know, just a lot of these malefic talents. So I'm trying to work with what I got, for lack of a better word here. Working with what I got. But that's about it, guys. Yeah, I think that kind of covers it. It's really, you know, it's a lot of time playing Raid. I think that's my biggest observation of this past year, is that I played a lot of Raid before this. But holy heck, man, playing 2 accounts at the same time, it's just a lot of raid. And I don't know long term if it's worth it for me to keep this up. Like, I've been doing it because I enjoy it. I've been doing it because I enjoy the challenge, because I think it's fun for every once in a while to peek in and see where I'm at. But the more and more I get into it, the more and more real life comes into play with surgeries and job, challenges and all this other stuff, the more I think like maybe my time is better spent elsewhere. And I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't even know if you're still watching. If you are, let me know. We're what 30 minutes into this video at this point. But I do think that's one of the challenges of this game, and it's talked about time and time again, is that it just takes too much time to do stuff. Everything takes too much time, and they don't put enough mechanics into the game to take away from that time sink. And they do it on purpose. They want you in the game. They want you invested in the game, both monetarily and with your life. And I don't know if that's the best thing for people mentally. It's one thing to have 1 account. It's another thing to have 2. For those of you who have 3 or 4, I frankly don't know how you do it with a job. I really don't, because it's been hard enough for me to keep this going with the other obligations that I have. So that's just some food for thought. But like I said, I've still played this because I have genuinely enjoyed the challenge. And I do think playing a free-to-play account has made me a better raid player overall. It's certainly given me more perspective to what the majority of the player base goes through and what they experience. It's taught me additional strategies. It's taught me to value resources more on my main account, both for when I was spending a ton of money and then when I wasn't spending money and then when I started spending a little bit of money again. So it's been really, really, really great in that regard of just kind of opening my horizons up and teaching me a lot about the game that I didn't know. And I do feel it made me a better overall player for sure. For sure. So that's the gist of it, guys. That's the catch up. There's the 1 year, 2 month update of Drock's free-to-play number 3 last year in the Hell Hades challenge. Like I said, first ever free-to-play account I've ever done. I hope that I covered every area here. I don't know if I've missed something. Hopefully not. But if I did, you'll let me know, and then I'll be like, oh, bummer, I should have talked about that. One quick thing I forgot to show is actually the fusions and my shards. You can see here, it's not a ton of shards, nothing crazy. Saving these things is rough, right? But we do need to talk about fusions. Mikage fusion. I did forget this, so this is a little addendum. I'm close. I'm so close. I'm just missing a Fire Gun, Isbale, and Eshma. That's it. Get these 2, and we're cooking. Fuse them, make it happen. But everything else I've got. I'm ready to rock. I just never have the shards ready when those guaranteed events come around, which is by design. I think they want you to spend for those anyway. So no big miss. But we're getting close to Mikage, and it will be big to get her for sure. So yeah, that was the one thing I forgot to mention. Now you know. And also, because I want to be thorough, here is a look at the fragments. We're way away from mod, no surprise. We do have Dark Hail ready. We'll get Scion soon. Quintus, because I haven't pushed live arena. You can see Lamasu. We're not very close. Same with Empress. Gwyneth, we're working towards. Saoirse, nowhere. Eros, a long time ago. And then the rest are all at zeros. Okay, now I think I've covered everything. Yes, we haven't gotten any remnants yet. Because on Cursed City Hard. Okay, there we go. I've covered it all now. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this catch-up video. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you're at in your journey, if you're playing free-to-play, if you're a spender, if you're a free-to-play player. I'm really curious to hear, again, what you think of my champion collection versus the normal free-to-play player, whether I've done better and been luckier, whether I've been not as lucky as I should. I didn't show you my vaults. Hold on. Let me quickly show you my vaults. But vault-wise, it's mostly just, for here, it's just more epics. Most of these are not dupes. So there's a lot of epics here I pulled. So I really do think I've had great epic luck. And then reserve vault is just a bunch of the faction guardian stuff. Almost forgot that. So close, but I got it. I didn't do it. I didn't forget it. Go me. Go me. And again, I think to me, I look at this and I think, man, this is pretty lucky overall. Like, could be better for sure. Could be a lot worse. Acrizia is my void pull. Acrizia, right? I mean, that's the only champion I pulled from a void shard that's a legendary, but not a bad pull, right? The only way it could have been better is if it was Marichka. And even then, I don't know. Crizia might be a better overall for a free-to-play account. Tough to tell. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Much love. Appreciate all the support. Almost at 20,000 subs. So if you haven't subbed to the channel and you enjoy the content, would greatly appreciate it as we push that 20K number, which is just crazy to think about. So thank you guys so much. I'll catch y'all soon. This is Big Papa Drock, and I am out.